Hello, classmates. My name is Jacqueline Chicas Flores, and today I will be presenting Chinese and Mexican American parenting styles and the effects it can have on children. So, as many of us know, there are four different parenting styles according to Baumrind, and they are authoritarian, authoritative, indulgent, also known as permissive, and neglectful. And I will explain each one of them. Authoritarian parenting is when parents set rigid rules in which children have to follow. Children cannot question authority or come to an agreement with the parents. In authoritative parenting, this involves showing a child to be more independent, but also setting limits to their actions. For instance, if they misbehave in school and they receive, detention from their teacher, the parent would communicate with their child versus, an authoritarian parent. They would probably ground or spank the child for misbehaving. Indulgent parenting is when parents are involved in their child's life and allow them to do whatever they please. No limits or responsibilities are set on the children. And lastly, neglectful parenting, in which parents do not take any interest in their child's life, and the child feels as if they are not important. They feel as if the parent has other priorities, such as their job or other relationships they're involved in, and just put anything else before. Now I'll be describing Mexican and Mexican American parenting. There is no one distinct parenting style used, rather a combination of various parenting concepts. A study showed that protective parenting seems to describe Mexican parents. The study was based on observation of parents showing warmth, demandingness, and autonomy granting. Consequently, 61% of Hispanics were labeled as protective because they revealed to score high on warmth and high demandingness. In addition, 31% of the parents were considered authoritative because they showed high warmth, high demandingness, and high autonomy granting. Other studies indicate that they are authoritarian, especially Mexicans who migrate to America and do not know the country, so they resort to controlling their child's every movement and believe that this will prevent any harm. An adolescent who was raised in an authoritarian style is controlled in aspects of his or her life, such as maintaining their virginity, being loyal to the family, and being submissive to family and elders. Chinese American parenting styles. Chinese Americans are identified as having an authoritarian style in which children adhere to strict rules and constant limitations, but recent research would not categorize Chinese parents as having this parenting style. Similarly to Mexican parenting styles, Chinese parenting style is not coherent because it is between authoritarian and authoritative. Because of strict schedules and orders that parents have for their children, Americans label their parenting as authoritarian. But Chinese do not consider it that way. China is a collectivist culture in which they believe everyone represents their culture and is held responsible for portraying a positive image. What is viewed as harsh punishment to Americans, to Chinese it is reinforcement, so a child can learn to behave in a socially acceptable way and learning to care about the culture as a whole. As Chinese immigrants come to America, they adopt the authoritative style. Once they obtain education in college, and learn about these parenting styles as we are now, they become informed that, the authoritative style is a more proper way of raising a child because it helps them develop socially and cognitively. In this video clip, you will see how a Chinese family deals with this type of parenting and just an example of how they parent.
All parents, especially Chinese parents, want their children go to Harvard. My mother is a traditional woman. I'm a traditional woman. When I was a child, I just did what she told. Today, it's different. But then start to teach her math when she was 1.5 years old. After about 4 months, she could do fraction, decimal, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. They wanted me to excel in school, so they started preparing me at a very young age. Both of my parents didn't finish high school because of the Cultural Revolution. I was born here, so I should be able to get into a really good school and have all the opportunities that they didn't have. It's really important to my parents that I attend an Ivy League college. Been prepared for so many years, worked so hard, and she's so smart. If she's not accepted, I don't know what kind of person they are going to accept. My life is school. I wake up, I go to school, come home, do homework, eat, sleep, and then it starts over. There's very little change. A typical nerd. So it's very hard right now. I'm very stressed out.
So in that clip, it showed the effects that the authoritarian parenting style can have on a child or a teen. In other words, they can be really distressed and they're just not living their life as a teen. As a teen, you normally want to have fun with friends and hang with friends, but many Chinese parents who use the authoritarian parenting style pressure them to study at all times. And this is what this slide will talk about, the effects of Chinese parenting. And this may create a parent who uses the authoritarian parenting style can create a child who lacks social skills in America, but in China this was not an issue, and they actually reported the opposite, that they had better social skills than the generation that was exposed to American culture. Authoritative parenting results in lower levels of children's difficulties, including emotional symptoms, conduct problems, hyperactivity, and peer problems, as rated by their preschool or daycare teachers. And this is according to another research article that I found. This is the last point to my whole presentation, which is the effects of Hispanic parenting. Protective parenting is a parenting style for Hispanic culture in which the parent does not provide much liberty and can affect the child because they become very dependent on their children, on their parents. Sorry. Authoritarian parenting evokes feelings of rebellion on a child because parents do not want to cooperate or talk to the child. Rather, they ferociously dictate that they are the ones who set the rules and kids should follow. If rules are not followed, then parents can use corporal punishment, and some forms of it is considered abuse in America. Abusing a child physically can impact his behavior. It can turn him or her timid or afraid when they grow up, and can carry out that type of behavior into relationships or use violence as a way to solve issues. And here are my references for this presentation, and I hope you have learned something from this and go along and share. Thank you for listening.